buy them, but you essentially look for products that are below retail, like, I don't know, hopefully 50% whatever everybody else is paying, and then you put it online through your Amazon, just all over.
All the shopping sites.
Exactly.
So you find a source with 50% value, things that are being sold about 50% value.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you just, once you post it, as soon as you get a sale, you just turn around, you buy the item, and then you ship it to the customer.
Oh, okay. So you purchase it as soon as you get the sale using their money.
Exactly. And I don't have to go to the store or anything. I just go online to where the product is, and then I sell it to them. Or send it,
That sounds so simple. All right, let's try to get in this frame together here. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, let's here, come over a little bit closer. We'll get TV uncomfortable, because in TV, the announcers in like the football games, they're like right on each other. Now this looks good. I like that background. All right, and then I'll try this. I'll put it on me. That way, okay, yeah, that could work out real good. Okay, cool. You pronounce your name McMillin?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. All right, so we'll just get into it. It's about 45 minutes usually, and just do like freestyle, real comfortable, exactly how we're feeling. You and I are both really good at that. All right, so here we are with Joseph McMillin, and today we're talking about wholesaling and investing. So Joseph, thanks for getting together. You have some background in finance, we were just chatting.
Yes.
Several years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What attracted you to finance when you first started?
Just the idea of like when you buy a car, kind of like what goes into that process, the back end, and then how that works into you essentially getting approved for the loan, and then driving out of driving out with whatever you're applying for, car, house. So that's really what got me into it.
Yeah, finance is very interesting. You learn a lot. And you did it for several years. I think all combined was like over 10 years that you were in different financial roles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was for a large company, large bank?
Yeah. Santander was the last company that I worked for. And originally, what got me really into finance is I worked at City Mortgage as a foreclosure analyst. And that was like when everything tanked, the market crashed, and people were just buying up foreclosure homes, and then I became an underwriter for City Mortgage, and then that just, unfortunately, I didn't get into, the property side of it back then, which, I regret, but hey, doing it now, trying to.
Yeah, you got to see the back end, the finance, and now you're into the property side, so you have both perspectives.
Right.
So we were both part of that kind of foreclosure wave.
Yeah.
It was real quick. By the time we learned everything, it was something new. The market was recovering. So that's so interesting. I want to learn a little bit more about that. So you were a foreclosure analyst. Were you telling the bank whether or not it was a good idea to try to modify the loan or to work out some sort of cash for keys or deed in lieu of foreclosure or foreclosure? You were helping make that decision?
Exactly, yeah. So, back then there was just lists and lists of homes that were already going towards that foreclosure. So when we would get the information for the property, we would essentially just run it through our system to see, debt to income ratio. And depending on those specific qualifications, I forgot what programs there were, but I think it's like the CAT. It's one that Obama had implemented. I forgot which one it was, but that was the biggest one. We're trying to modify everything and maybe give the customer a little bit more spread out of a payment plan.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Maybe HARP was one of those programs that they were using, the HARP program.
I think so.
Yeah, and they had a couple other ones during that administration where they were really trying to make the length of the loan longer.
Right.
So what was some ahas or big takeaways or things that you learned being on the inside of that experience?
Just how much everybody needed help. You
Yeah.
know, that back then we could just buy a property, just keep buying, and even though there was, adjustable rate mortgages, they were just still buying and buying and buying. Um, and ultimately, I mean, going towards now, that's something that I've stayed away from is, our mortgages, just seeing the backlash of the market kind of tanking, I feel like, because of that. So, yeah, I feel like that's kind of like the lessons that you learn when you're looking at the accounts that you're looking at,
Oh, sure. Yeah, you're getting a lot of reps, seeing a lot of challenges people are going through, and you're seeing, okay, it was an ARM, adjustable rate mortgage.
Right.
They could afford the payments, and then the rate changed. They couldn't afford it, and you just kept seeing that over and over again, and it instilled, okay, ARMs are dangerous.
Yeah, yeah.
And now here we are in a market where ARMs are very popular right now.
Right.
And they're being touted by the new home builders that are really good at selling homes and finding products to help the buyer purchase right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so interesting. When I first got into real estate, my mentor that I was telling you about, the developer here in town, he said one thing's for sure about real estate is it's cyclical. It goes up and down.
Right.
And I remember all the market changes I've been through in 16 years of selling real estate. Just when you feel like something's so strong and nothing can affect it, something comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we've been very high for a long time on prices.
Yeah.
And affordability is a challenge right now. All the mentors and people I watch online, like Thak Wynn and maybe like Ryan Pineda, some of those other guys, what I remember hearing them say is that the market's going to continue to improve and do really well. And having been on the foreclosure side with you, well, at the same time as you, I'm skeptical that things are going to happen the way they're supposed to.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't see it now as much as you do with the adjustable rate mortgages. So if that is a popular trend right now,
Real popular.
that's a little bit worrying.
For you, you've seen it.
Yeah. But at the same time, I wonder if maybe they're thinking, okay, I do the adjustable rate mortgage now,
Yes.
and then in 3 years, 5 years, whenever the the rate changes, maybe I can do a refinancing to get maybe on a fixed.
That's the thought.
And that's, yeah. And I think a lot of people thought that back then too.
They did.
And we ended up where we ended up.
Here we are again.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because normally I'm someone who doesn't like regulation, And when the regulation was lifted in the early 2000s, I think it was during the Clinton administration, where there was an initiative to help more people buy homes.
Right.
So there was a lot of stated income loans. And, you hear the story about the strawberry farmer who would buy a $600,000 home in California.
Yeah.
So that was less regulation, and then people were able to purchase something that wasn't financially the best option for them. And that was one of the things that led to massive foreclosures. Another thing was the adjustable rate mortgages. One of the problems with adjustable rate is, maybe the rates go down and you go to refinance, but if the economy's changed and a lot of people have lost their job and they can't credit qualify, it could lead to foreclosures. So that brings up an interesting thing, and it's not the focus of our conversation today, but I think worth discussing because we're both educated to it, is you brought up something earlier, was the helping people and seeing their needs.
Right.
And that really is important in what you and I do now. Wholesaling, flipping, investments. It is about the human side. And the more we educate ourselves, like watching podcasts like this or ones that we see online, we can learn how to help the consumer out of tight spots. And a lot of times that's what wholesaling is at its core, is helping a consumer with limited options get the best, most eloquent solution for them. Okay, very cool. So great background. Why don't we get into that topic about the most eloquent solutions for homeowners that are experiencing financial hardships, change of circumstances. You are really good at what you do. You talk with a lot of homeowners during the day.
Right.
That are running into some problems with their financial situation as it relates to their house. What are some of the main situations that you're uncovering and coming across?
I think the biggest thing is, we all face some kind of hardship, and sometimes we just don't foresee things happening. So a lot of the times, a lot of the homeowners I'm speaking to, they have a active mortgage. They do have a good interest rate, and the equity part of it is really the big key to see, can they qualify? Can I qualify them to be a subject to, or some kind of a creative deal to where I can help them out, put some money in their pocket today, and take the keys to help them out.
Okay. So key factors: active mortgage, good interest rate. We're seeing a lot of that. We
Yes.
just had really good interest rates for probably a decade.
Right.
Almost. So that part's good. Why are they now in a financial hardship in relation to their home? What kind of circumstances are you seeing?
As far as financial hardship, I've talked to a few people that they've lost a loved one,
Death in the family.
death in the family, or it was two spouses that were on the mortgage. One of them unfortunately got sick or
Illness.
One of them lost a job.
Curtailment of income.
Yes. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so change in financial situations that are going to continue to happen.
Right.
And then guys and gals like you and I step in with solutions. And you mentioned put money in their pocket. That sounds to be like a reoccurring theme of what helps them most is cash.
Yes.
Okay, they need cash.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then what kind of solution do they have in mind, or have you seen for their living? What kind of housing solution do they get into after they wholesale the home to you?
Yeah. So once we put money in their pocket, after that, they can go into maybe a nice apartment. They get another house that they can maybe afford better. But ultimately, I think the biggest thing is they don't want to feel like they got just handed a bad deal
From you as the
From me as a
wholesaler and
wholesaler.
everyone else involved in
exactly.
the sale of their home.
Yeah.
So they don't want to feel like they were handed a bad deal.
Exactly.
So they're reserved to that. Consumers, people are just as smart as us. Everyone's smart. There's so much information on the web. Everybody knows what's going on. They've got Zillow. Zillow is a great source for home value.
Mm-hmm.
I know my fellow real estate agents don't like Zillow Value. I think Zillow Value is the most accurate computerized value. And it's usually about 6% above what a home will sell for.
Right.
And I think the reason Zillow does that is because we like hearing 6% above what our home's worth. That makes us like Zillow.
Yeah.
If we're always looking up a value online that's less, we're not going to like it. Consumers love their Zillow value.
Right.
In selling thousands of homes, over 3,000. And Zillow wasn't always a part of it, but once they became a part of it and more happened, I kept seeing 6%. You could get a Zillow price, especially in markets like what we've seen with low inventory.
Yeah.
But usually Zillow is about 6% more than what a home will sell for on the market.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
People like it. I like 6% plus on my value.
Sure.
So they're educated. They don't want to feel like they were handed a bad deal. So we need to humanize this. And you and I are both in the same Bible study,
Yeah.
and one of the things that we learn from the Bible is, the purpose of helping others.
Yes.
So it's a testimony to be able to give people a good deal and save them from being handed a bad deal. So what are those things that you have learned and that you implement in your conversations in order to make them get a good deal and also feel like they can trust you, like they're getting a good deal? How do you handle that?
Yeah, so I take the information, so I use a prop stream.
Okay.
That's the tool that I use.
Okay.
And I'm able to gather, the equity. I can see how much they have left on the loan, the original loan amount, and what they're asking for. And what I do is, and I've actually talked to a lot more people that actually are represented by agents
Okay.
than I have actual sellers. So the sellers that I do talk to, what I do is I present it in a way to where I do the comparables and I show them, look, in the market in your area, this is actually what houses are selling for that are like yours, and I break it down to them and I tell them, I can offer you this much down today, and I will take the keys, take over payments right away, and you don't have to worry about payments. If there's an HOA, you don't have to worry about anything after that. I will take care of that for you.
Okay. So it's a lot of task relief. They're overwhelmed, they're in a financial hardship, and one of the ways that you make them feel comfortable and assure them and show them that they're getting a good deal is you show them how you're going to remove tasks off their plate.
Right.
I like that a lot. You use PropStream, probably the most popular source for getting information on a home, mortgage, how much is owned, contact information, stuff like that. So write that down, folks. Joseph, coming from a financial background and me knowing you personally, you're diligent, you're not sloppy, you're detailed, so we can trust PropStream from your recommendation because it's probably a tool that works good for people that are detailed and focused, so that's excellent. Yeah. Also, you talked about helping them understand the value of their home by showing them comparables.
Right.
Okay. Now that's really helpful for consumers because when an agent gets a listing, one of the most effective ways to get a listing, little inside as an agent for 16 years, is to buy the listing. And that's a term when you interview with a seller and you give them the highest price that they're going to hear out of everyone.
Right.
That's called buying the listing. And it's actually the most effective way to get a listing. Homeowners will go with the agent that quotes them the highest sale price.
Right.
Over someone who can articulate the best marketing plan to get them the most amount of money, which ultimately is what matters the most.
Right.
Correctly pricing your home and then exposure to get more eyeballs on it. But a more popular way and an easier way is to buy the listing, and then the agent hopes through time and stress and the seller's desire to sell that they lower the price to market value, but they buy it up here.
Yes.
And you come in with a perspective of here's the comps, here's the way I'm looking at them.
Right.
And how do people usually react to that? I mean, they were sold by their agent, and agents do a great job. They're honest people, they're philanthropists. Their license alone states that they're staying out of trouble, not getting felonies, not getting DUIs. You can lose your license over that. So licensed agents are good people. Sometimes when you share with the seller, you can get 500,000, but it's more likely to sell for 450. The only thing the seller heard was 500. That's it.
Right.
So how does that conversation unfold when you present maybe a more realistic look at comparables?
So ultimately, they see the Zillow or the real estate agent, coming in. Let's say their house is worth $250,000 realistically, and the realtor will come in and say, "Hey, you know what? Let's just do $300,000 or $350,000."
Right.
But at the point when I call them, the house has already been on the market for over 60 to 70 days.
Okay, so they've got a little reality check.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I come in and explain all this, they're just like, it's kind of like an aha moment, like, okay, thank goodness you are telling me the truth.
Finally.
And you're not just trying to sell me or convince me to, here's my house, and I'm about to make 500,000 myself or 300,000.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I come in and I just explain to them, and I feel like I have better conversations that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's authentic.
Yeah.
You're a real buyer. Better conversations. They've had a little bit of marketing time on the market to get a reality check.
Right.
They're on the market at the price they heard from their agent it should sell for, so they know something's not right.
Right.
And then you come in with the most important factor in selling your home, which Barbara Corcoran tells us. The most important factor to get your home sold is pricing it correctly. That's number one.
Yes.
So you come in with the most important topic, which is a more realistic look at value, and it hits them correctly because the data's kind of showed them that. And then when you outline it for them, they understand it better. So I think that's a huge value add to help people know they're getting the best deal and that you care about them, is that you're being straight with them.
Right.
Yeah. You're not trying to sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. Great. So you give them a more realistic value. Then how does the conversation go?
So after I present all the information with them, and they'll either tell me, okay, let me think about it, or they tell me, okay, give me more information after that. What do I do once you hand me the money, hand you the keys? Like, how does it work? So I let them know first thing. If we continue forward, what we'll do is we will put the deed, and I apologize, either the deed or the title into a trust.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we will become the holders of the trust.
Okay. So you have a trust set up.
Right.
And you put the deed to the house in your name.
Yes.
Okay. So you own the home. And they want to know kind of what's the process.
Yes.
How do I get my money? Who's going to make the payments? Okay. So you're doing a lot of focus on seller financing or sub 2.
Yes.
Okay, which is a great focus. Great way to preserve that interest rate. I'll go on a little bit of a rant and talk about interest. If you want to know who's running the world is run by power. The number one thing for power is money.
Yes. So
if you follow the money, that who controls the world, and the most money is in interest. So, we get these mortgages for $300,000 over the life of the loan, you end up paying $600,000.
Right.
If you keep it for 30 years. But since there's so many incentives to refinance, you end up paying about 3 to 4 times the amount of the house over 30 years.
Yeah.
Whether it's just on that home or a bunch of homes, because you get new loans. With new loans, there's funding fees, points, and then the interest starts over. And interest is I don't know the term, but your first payments of your mortgage are pretty much all interest, and then after 15 years, it finally switches over to more principal payment. So we can understand why social media message is geared towards more interest. That could be seen in this whole, hey, be single thing. That's 2 home mortgages, 2 car mortgages, and then everybody's got to get a college degree according to what we're sold.
Right.
So now you got student loan interest, and then they want to get you solar and give you a $50,000 solar payment with interest. So watch out for the interest, folks. That's how we fight back is we do seller financing and we keep the loan in place and transfer the property to someone else rather than getting the bank involved, because the bank's the one that makes the majority of the money over the buyer and the seller.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's a great way to help people, is to preserve the value they have in their home, and not just in the home, but their really good interest rate, which is a valuable piece that they have.
Yeah.
Okay, so they want to know the process. You walk them through that. All right, great. So I've done about 30 flips and about 20 wholesales since 2012. been selling since 2008. So I have some good experience in the reps and wholesales. What kind of questions do you have about the wholesale process, the flip process, real estate investing?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start off with, and you and I were talking about this a little bit before. What got you into real estate?
Yeah, I had a really cool experience getting into real estate. Got out of college where I had a magazine, and I was already working more than 40 hours a week. Answered an ad for a sales company related to real estate that is, what's up, buddy? Yeah. Oh, good friend of mine. Our boys play ball together. His name's Tim.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's come to Zion City with me before.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is really cool. And he went up to the altar, you know what I mean? And that always feels good when you bring a friend in and they go and, you know, he didn't, I did go with him. I was like, I'll go with you. I walked up there with him, but I didn't hear what he was talking about. But it was cool to be a part of that experience with him. Anyway, really cool guy.
Really
We've known each other since college.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So anyway, the way I got into real estate, I answered this ad, and I went into an office right up here on Oracle. It was right up the street, and it was a new company in 2005, which was the height of the market. You remember the market in 2005?
Yeah.
It was going crazy.
Yeah.
And it was the #1 real estate agent in town, Marcy Willems. Her husband, Jeff Willems, who's a marketing genius and one of my mentors, founded that company with an advertising guy, his advertising guy. And they had a proven advertising model. So I walked in, and I was just out of college, and I noticed there was no manager, just 2 successful businessmen with a really good business idea. And so I jumped on that opportunity. I went up to Jeff and I said, if you ever need somebody to open up in the morning or lock up in the afternoon, I'm your guy. And he gave me a $5,000 per year raise and made me the manager right there. I was like, okay, that worked out.
Really?
Yeah. So now I'm a manager of a marketing company, and we would sell zip codes to agents around the nation. And then we would advertise for get a free home value, kind of like Zillow, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then the leads would come in, and it was a perfect plan. We sold out the whole nation. Everyone had their own individual office, and we weren't selling. So I put everyone in a big office together where everyone could hear each other, and it changed everything.
Really?
Yeah, everyone had to be honest. Everyone had to hustle, you know, because they weren't in their little office.
Right.
So we sold out the whole nation within half a year, and that half a year, it became 2006 and the market was crashing.
Yeah.
People were getting their value, but they couldn't sell. So we started to get cancellations, and I did a really good job. So Jeff offered me a job with his wife's real estate team. It was the #1 team in town for 5 years up to that point. And I went in there, there were 3 buyer's agents, and they were a listing machine. But I saw the opportunity on the buy side, so I started recruiting agents at night. I was young, my son was 1 year old, you know, so it was a real make it happen kind of time.
Right.
I was really motivated. And I ended up building a 10-person buyer agent team. I had great success over there, and that's how I got in.
That's awesome.
Thanks for asking. It was a really cool experience. Yeah.
So when you did that, did you start doing creative financing when you had your team, or when did you start that process?
So 2008, 2005 started the advertising company. 2007 transferred to the real estate team. I managed their buyer side, non-licensed, and I did a really good job, but I didn't know the lingo and I didn't have the on the field experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see my agents like snickering every now and then, you know, because here's this guy who's not even licensed, like giving him a training class on sales.
Right.
So I said, man, I gotta get licensed. So I got licensed in 2008 and had a really good year. Went to Jeff and Marcy, told them I want to start my own team, offered them something that I thought would work where we could still work together. They weren't into it. So I left the team, but kept really good relations with them. And I started doing open houses. And there's something really important about when you're wanting to propel your career, working physically hard, because it's a really good conversation with your mind.
Right.
You know, I'd pound 30 signs in the ground, have these great open houses, but I was exhausted. So my mind was like, you got to figure out something better. And then that's when I started getting into selling for HUD and Fannie Mae. And I'd have 250 homes on the market at a time, became really popular in town, treated all the agents the way I felt I wanted to be treated
Sure.
by listing agents with 250 homes. And I think that really helped with my reputation. The foreclosures went away, and I was able to build a team using my reputation. And then in 2012, I started doing my first flips, getting homes from the government as part of a program before they went on the market. So I got a first look.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was cool. And then I continued to sell and run the team, and I didn't get into creative financing until recently. So I would just do flips.
Okay.
And wholesaling wasn't really that popular until probably 5 years ago.
Mm.
You know, probably 2020 is when wholesaling started to gain some traction over flips.
Yeah. So as far as like the fix and flip side, what do you normally look at to see if it's a good deal or not a good deal?
Yeah, good question. I'll share my pro forma with you. So I have a pro forma. I got it from my mentor that flips about 30 homes a month, which is incredible.
30 a month?
30 a month, yeah.
Oh, man.
I know, crazy. They've been doing it since, I think 2003.
Wow, just here in Arizona, or is it
They started in Arizona, now they're in Florida. I'm doing 3 homes with them in West Virginia right now. But I use their pro forma, and I try to make 10% profit. So the nice thing about me giving you the pro forma is you can calculate my profits, and my goal is to make 10%. So you can mark up your wholesales as much as possible, knowing the max I'll pay.
Sure.
And that will increase the amount of deals that we do together, because you'll know that, you know, you're getting the highest amount of reward for you based on what I can pay as a flipper. So I share the pro forma with you of what I can pay, and you can calculate my profit so you can mark it up to the max before offering it to me.
Okay.
And it costs about $50,000 to do a complete rehab on a home, unless it needs roof and AC. 47,500 is my goal. It's really hard to hit those numbers these days.
Right.
You know, you're talking all new carpet, paint, all new light fixtures, all new plumbing, usually some drywall repair, and then you also have your holding cost on top of the 50,000, and that's your utilities, insurance, also HOA if there's an HOA, and then your hard money loan. And the hard money loan is expensive.
Yeah, the interest rates.
The interest rates, yeah. They're 8 to 14%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been seeing that too. So your pro forma, that's...
The pro forma is an Excel sheet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Google Sheets, so you can share it with me and I can look at it. And like I give it to you, and then you're like, hey, I just filled out this pro forma, and let me know your thoughts. We can look at it together, you know?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's really cool using Google Sheets. And in the pro forma, it shows, you know, what I can buy it for, how much my rehab's gonna be, what my holding cost's gonna be, and then my profit. And then it divides the profit by all the money that I'm putting in.
Yeah.
Purchase, rehab, and holding cost. And when that equals 10%, that's a green light for me in a normal market.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, good process.
Yeah. And I know that we had talked before after one of our classes that there's a term, novation.
Yeah, novation.
Yeah. And I'm really curious. So, what is it, and how, you know, what's the process of novation?
Yeah. So the novation is super popular right now. It's been around forever, which is good, you know. And it's very similar to what you're doing right now with Sub 2. And it's for situations where a homeowner wants to get market value. And usually market value for a home listing for sale is not what you're going to get with like a cash offer. You know, cash offer offers convenience and speed, which is expensive.
Yeah.
Like if you sell your home to Open Door, you're probably going to pay about 5%. You're probably going to get about 5% less than what it's worth.
Right.
Plus a 5% fee. They charge 5% sometimes. I don't know what they're doing today, but every time I've checked, and I do a lot of business with Open Door, it's a good company. And a lot of people sell to Open Door, or a lot of people sell to wholesalers because of convenience is the biggest thing, and speed secondarily. Let me ask you a question. What are you seeing as the number one reason somebody wants to sell to you or another wholesaler opposed to hiring an agent listing for sale?
I think the biggest thing is just the money that can get to them directly compared to if they get an agent, they have the agent, cost. They don't have to pay that. They just really all the funds go to just the seller. That's it.
Okay. So the real appealing part is less fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get the price and.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. So it's the same process as what you're doing right now.
Okay.
And then I'll turn you on to that training. Ryan Pineda has the best training on it, and he has all the forms. I can share them with you. Just please remind me to share them with you. And in a nutshell, it's for a homeowner that doesn't want to hire an agent and list for sale and have showings and go through the hassle.
Okay.
But they still want to get market value. So with a novation, they sign documents that gives you permission to sell the home as if you're the owner.
That's very interesting.
Very interesting.
Okay.
And it will help you, it will give you more tools to help the people that you're reaching out to right now. Because you run into a lot of people where your pricing doesn't work for them. Now you have something, novation is the highest price behind listing for sale with an agent. It's the highest price. So you're going to beat out wholesalers, you're going to beat out cash buyers, you're going to beat out flippers. It's a better price. The novation price is a better price and there's no risk to you. There's risk in everything, but I say no risk as far as you're not buying the home, you're not using your money.
Right.
Yeah. You're not obligating yourself to the loan, nothing like that. So they sign the documents, they're like, I want $400,000. And you're like, well, I can't get your $400,000 cash offer. We need to pay $350 for a cash offer. They're like, no, I want $400. You say, okay, I can get you $400, but it's probably going to take me closer to 60 to 90 days. Is the extra amount of time worth the extra amount of money? And a lot of times they'll say yes. And then transparency is key. You're really good at transparency. That's the key to helping people feel like they're getting the best deal and that they understand what they're doing with their biggest asset. So you tell them exactly how everything works, your role, explain all the paperwork to them. I say, okay, I can get you $400,000, and then I have the right to sell it. I'm going to list it for sale for more than $400,000. That'll pay me, my team, the expenses that we come up with. And I'm going to get that money from the buyer. Do you care how I make my money as long as you get your $400,000? And they don't care. They just want their $400,000.
Right.
So you finish the paperwork, and then you list it for sale. If you're not a licensed agent, you can hire a minimal listing brokerage that just puts it on MLS for like $500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how Ryan Pineda recommends to do it. He used to be licensed. He isn't anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Like, how you can talk with a seller that has their home listed? I can't. As an agent, I can't. That's against the MLS rules. So to be a member of MLS, I'm agreeing not to communicate with someone who's represented. I have to communicate through their agent.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. I didn't know
It's
that.
interesting. Plus, there's more liability as a licensed agent because you're an expert, It's like if you get in a fight with somebody and you're a professional boxer, you might face harsher penalty than someone who's not a professional boxer.
Right. Yes.
So you just do showings like 1 or 2 days, and you get all your buyers together. The buyers submit an offer in order to get the information of when the home is going to be open for an hour.
Okay.
So they have to submit an offer. It shows that the buyer is serious and the offer is pending a visual inspection.
Right.
And then you open up the house on a Saturday, let's say from noon to 2. Your 5 buyers come in. 2 of them want to move forward. You select the one you want to move forward with. You go to escrow. They do their inspection. Everything goes based on the Arizona State purchase contract. And then the home sells for $425,000.
Okay.
I think a more accurate number would be about 440 because you pay 3% to the buyer's agent.
Yes.
That would leave about 425, and then you get the 25,000. The homeowner gets their 400. Everyone's happy.
So that's pretty interesting. So so you contact the seller.
Same way you're doing it now, which is
Same
nice.
way.
Yes.
And if their home's worth, let's say $250,000,
Yeah.
but
They're
they're trying to get $300,000.
Well,
kind of what
yeah, I think if they could list it and sell it for 325, meaning that what would the wholesale price, what would the cash price for a flipper be on something like that? If they can sell it for 325, probably around 250.
Yeah, yeah.
Cash buyer is probably gonna be about 250, right?
Yeah.
So I think a more accurate way to describe it, you're saying it right, is it's worth 250 as a cash purchase.
Okay.
But
yes.
you could list it for 325 and sell it, and they want 300.
Okay.
That's when the numbers work.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they don't want to list it for sale. You'd be surprised how many people will let their home go to foreclosure before they list it.
Yeah.
They don't want to go through the hassle. They're demoralized. Something's going on in their world where they don't have the wherewithal to clean up the home,
Right.
meet with agents, choose one.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything unless you step in and show them a solution where you're going to take care of everything. And then you sign all the paperwork with them right then and there on the phone. That way you can walk through everything with them.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So novation.
Yeah, and I need to do novations to become an expert. I'm trained through the training, but I've always sold them as an agent. But now I do want to do novations after getting the training. And it's been going on for decades, so it's tried and true. But a great exit strategy to add to what you're already doing. You're already contacting people. You're already putting in the footwork. You might as well have a market value solution that takes more time and more work on your end, but allows you to help somebody.
Right. Right. And as far as because you were mentioning how you can't reach out to
If you're licensed.
if you're licensed.
You can't contact someone who is in a listing agreement.
Okay.
I think specifically the rules and regulations of MLS say you can't contact a homeowner who has their home listed on MLS if you're licensed.
Okay.
But you're not licensed, so.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any restrictions from a consumer calling another consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because we were talking about creative and all those different things. So do you have a team that does the creative part of it, or is it like what do you?
I always just do each deal individually.
Okay.
And then bring in the partners to facilitate the deal, whether it's a money partner or the escrow company is a great partner. They do a lot of the paperwork and legwork for you, and they will handle a lot of the subject to. For subject to, the servicer that we use is the same servicer that Pace Morby uses.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would have to look up the name of that servicer, but it's $7 a month, and they service the loan. So you, as the new owner of the home,
Okay.
make the mortgage payment through that servicer, and then that servicer notifies the previous homeowner that the mortgage payment was made,
Mm-hmm.
and notifies you that the payment was accepted. So there's a lot of tracking, because on subject 2, people want to make sure that their mortgage is going to get paid and their credit's not going to be hurt.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and then the additional team members would be, if I purchase it and rent it out,
Mm-hmm.
would be a property management company, unless it's one that I'm managing on my own.
Yeah, and with as much experience as you have, you are, I mean, at this point, you are just picking the deals, like people are bringing you the deals, and if it makes sense, you're just.
Yeah, I could definitely be set up a lot better to have it as nice as you just explained it.
Yeah.
But that's definitely the goal, is to have things doing more what you want to do and outsourcing what you don't want to do.
Right.
Property management is tough, and I think the 10% fee that the property manager charges, I think, is worth it.
Sure.
Yeah, there's only a few homes you're going to want to manage yourself. You
Right.
know, probably not more than 4 as an individual.
Yeah, and I've noticed that we actually have we own a home in Chandler.
Nice.
And we go through a property management company.
Okay.
Luckily, we had a great tenant.
That
Paid up
helps.
front for a full 12 months. So
I like them
luckily-
already.
Yeah, they were great. And yeah, I can't say, I have nothing but good things to say about the property management company. I mean, I know they have like a 200 plus portfolio, so they probably have a lot of people, but what would you like? Like, what's your end goal? What does that look like?
For me?
Yeah.
I'd like to be diversified. I'd like to own as many doors as possible, have them managed by property management companies, and that would allow me to put them into trust for my kids, get my kids involved. I think real estate's great, fits me like a glove. There's a lot of different things you can do: sales, finance, ownership, investing. So I would say my end goal is, by the time my son, who's a junior, graduates high school in a year and a half, to have a property next to a school that he wants to go to, that he can move into, and as a part-time job, rent out the other rooms. So I would need to have enough doors around enough desirable colleges in the Southwest, where I think he's going to end up wanting to go, in order to have one that he could actually move into. Or it'd have to be so set up that I'm doing so much business, like, oh, you want to go to this college? And then within 6 months, I'm able to acquire a house that he would want to live in.
Right.
So that's my immediate goal. I really like the art of the deal. So I'd like to stay in this kind of stuff, putting together strategic partnerships with individuals like you, us working on deals, whether you're wholesaling it to me or I'm wholesaling it to you.
Yeah.
So I like putting deals together. I like sales. I do envision building my real estate team back up. And I would like to focus this 3,000 sales, because I've sold over 3,000 homes. So in the next 3,000 sales, I would like to focus on building a portfolio rather than just doing the sales. Because once the sales stop, which they do as the market changes, having equity in 5 doors, 10 doors, 20 doors is a must.
Right.
So that's my 5-year goal.
Man, yeah, just hearing that you've already done 3,000 houses, I'm just like, man.
Yeah, man, why didn't I keep more of them?
That's great. Wow.
Yeah, it's great to do the sales, and it teaches you what you would have done differently.
Yeah.
And I've wholesaled, probably 20 and flipped 30, and then just straight sold all the rest when there was a ton in there that there would have been a better solution for the seller and me that would allow me to keep that home.
Right.
Yeah. So it's good to do this and pick up this knowledge, learn from you. I've learned a lot, and share what we know.
Right.
That's a really good question. What's your immediate goal and your 5-year goal?
5-year goal. I think, knock on wood, and with God's help, I want to, get as many doors as possible. God willing, you know, my goal would be 20
That's a nice number.
20 doors, you know, and hopefully do, you know, 20 plus flips, you know, God willing.
Okay. Flip 20, keep 20.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yes.
I like that.
And just have that, get those connections, you know, build those connections, hopefully have a team that can just, where we can just help each other out, you know, and just build each other up, you know, make sure everybody can, you know, is financially secure, and not holding that information in, you know, like let's help as many people as we can. So that's my goal with real estate investing.
20 flips, 20 doors.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, and the network, I like the entrepreneurial mind that's in real estate. Those individuals tend to be very giving, like to share their successes, and that's a great way to learn. Like you said, everyone's supporting each other, helping each other. That's a great way to network.
Right.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a good goal. All right, so what's it going to take for us to reach our goals? I think for me, it's 9 contacts a day of people that I care about, reaching out and seeing if they have any homes that I can buy, and then answering their questions that come as a result of that.
Right.
Being a resource. Also, I believe that I need to submit 3 offers per day, whether it's a home that was brought to me or one that I'm submitting on a line. And I've written down my goals. So 9 contacts per day, 3 offers, and I need to read my goals more often. What do you think it's going to take for your 20 doors and 20 flips?
Yeah, so and I think honestly a realistic number is probably a lot higher than that, but just on the, you know, let's just say minimal scale.
Yeah, we don't want to scare anyone. If we tell everyone our real goals, no one will believe us, right?
Right.
We'll show you. We'll show us. I always say, you know, you'll see. When people say they can do something, instead of we'll see, it's like you'll see. You know, because that's what matters. You know, the individual. We'll see. Right. I'll see. So anyway, you were saying 20 as a modest number. Okay.
Yeah.
What's that going to take?
So I like the, you know, nine contacts a day.
Yeah. It's a good number.
I think I do probably up to 17 a day, 14 to 17 a day.
The only result is the success that you want.
Exactly.
That's the only result of what you're doing.
It's just calling and just on that grind to, you know, what do you want in life? And
what do you personally want? That's what you're
doing? Yeah, just, you know, whatever you want in life, you just got to work hard for it.
Yes.
And, you know, nine calls a day is definitely
sustainable.
More than doable.
Yes.
Absolutely.
5 days a week.
5 days a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
17 is a great number because we want to front load our work.
Yeah.
We don't actually make 9 a day. You make 17 a day.
Yeah.
And then when you want to golf on Friday, you've already made your calls.
Yes.
We front load our work.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on average 9 per day. Okay. 17 right now. All right. Good. Yeah, I think it's all about reps, like everything. Yeah. So just the consistency. Now, I'll give you a little challenge that I've seen with individuals getting into real estate that are making the calls like you. The results can take time. You know, 3 to 4 months before you get your first deal is average. Fastest I've ever seen is 15 days in escrow, 45 for a sale. But that was kind of a freaky situation. Really, it takes 3 months to get your first deal. And if you look at, you know, one of the guys online talking about results on getting a 6-pack ab, they talk about following your diet and getting sleep and staying away from drugs and alcohol for 3 months. Yeah. That's the number they use. There's something about 3 months. And I just heard one of the fitness guys say that online. And then another guy, Andy Elliott, he was talking about the power of 100 days. You do something for 100 days, and then you're going to see massive results. That's that same 3 month, 100 days, I think around that time.
Right.
So as you do that, and you're like you said, grinding, we can want results faster, and then we compare ourselves to others, and it seems like everyone else is wholesaling 10 homes a month or 30 flips per month, like I said. It seems like everyone is. So how do you stay on track when you're not getting the results as fast as you want, but you know what you're doing is what works? How do you keep at it?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just your drive, for me at least. Yeah, they might be doing, 30 houses a month, and I'll get there at one point, but right now it's just building to that and just telling myself every day, like, hey, you are blessed enough to even be able to make a phone call to, be alive tomorrow, today, that I'm healthy, and just, yeah, I think that's just what keeps me, level-headed as to my goal of this is what I want today. And, I'm going to make a sale today. I tell myself that every day, like, today's the day. And I mean, I have great calls every day, and I submit deals every day. And it's just, yeah, that's what keeps me motivated and not worried about, the other person next to me that's, maybe doing the 30 houses a day. Because that's great, man. That's
good for them.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, just knowing the truth that you have in yourself, being happy to have the ability to make the call.
Yeah.
Enjoying the work, like, yeah, I think that's great. We gotta practice what we love to do.
Right.
The enjoyment should be in the practice, not just winning the game.
Right.
Yeah, it's the actual daily practice. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big reason why I'm doing a lot of investments right now. This is rewarding for me. I like this practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You had mentioned grind. Grind gets things done, right?
Yeah.
It also wears things down.
Yes.
So how do we have the work-life balance that you and I were talking about earlier, to where our mindset and our actions are more of a flow, which builds up, and less of a grind, which is effective but wears down? What kind of things can we do on a daily basis so that we build a momentum of flow rather than a momentum of grind? On the spot question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It is a good question. It's one I ask myself. Yeah, and I'm glad I'm asking you, because you have really good life-work balance. You got a great family. You're honest. You're kind. You know some things, because if you figure that out, you figured out the most important things. So, yeah, something to think about. What are your thoughts on how do we build up a flow instead of grinding?
I mean, for me, I know that my day-to-day is I wake up at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and right away I just start working on each account that I have the list. And typically, actually, I'll do my list the night before. Like, I'll create like what 17 properties do I want to do the following day, and then that day, that's when I'll make sure they're still active.
Okay.
Because every day things do change.
Yes.
Or they go into pending status. So from 6:30, 7 o'clock, I make sure that I stop between 4:30 to 5 sometimes, if not 3:30. Just depends on how many calls I've touched at that point.
Okay.
But in between that, I mean, I'm still making lunch, or I'm still trying to do things as a good husband, good partner, and a good dad. But I allow myself to not get too hung up on, did I touch this property? How many properties? Like, I just try to give myself that goal of 17 between 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock being my cutoff.
Okay.
Every day.
I like it. So I heard prep, and prep is everything.
Yeah.
A firefighter buddy told me that once, ex-military guy. He said prep is everything, and prep is so important.
Right.
And I say it in my trainings. Our day starts at 8:30 the night before.
Yeah.
In making sure we're prepped for the next day. That's when our day starts, at 8:30 the night before. I'm glad you shared that about the prep, because that'll allow you to feel like you're building up a flow rather than grinding. And then you also talked about don't get hung up on the minutia or the details. Look at a little bit bigger of a picture so you don't get paralysis by analysis.
Right.
And then you said have cutoffs. That's healthy.
Yeah.
I'm working till 5 today or 3:30 or 4 or whatever the time is that you set to be able to take care of the more important things, because we work
Yeah.
around life. We don't put life around work. We put work around life. So I think that's a great way to build up the flow. I'm glad I asked you that. Okay, cool. Any other questions you came in with today?
No, honestly, I think, man, you have a lot of knowledge and just a lot of the information that you already gave to me that already answered a lot of the questions that I had for you. So, no, yeah, I can't thank you enough for giving me your time
Of course, thank you.
to help me.
Thanks for your time. I think we're giving equal here. This is great for both of us. I want to share that I think a really important thing that any investor such as yourself or me should add to our conversation is I buy homes cash. And the 9 contacts per day, it doesn't mean 9 new individuals.
Mm-hmm.
A contact today can be someone that we met yesterday and spoke with them and they were a contact yesterday.
Right.
It's just another conversation moving towards a goal. So when you tell people you buy homes cash, that's a great conversation to be known as.
Right.
You're making all these phone calls, be known as a guy that buys homes cash.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you fill out that wholesale contract or the novation or the sub 2, you are the buyer. You know, whether it's you or a trust that you own.
Yeah.
So letting people that you know that you buy homes cash and getting them into wholesaling. You know, say, hey, if you ever want to learn, let me know. We can do a phone call or get coffee and teach people how to do what you're doing on the side. I see that as the guys that do the 30 deals a month. That's how they did it. They're known as the person to go to when you want to borrow money or you want to sell a home.
Right.
Yeah. Their margins are pretty tight right now, which is good for us because it allows us to buy some stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, their margins aren't that great in my opinion, but they see everything. So with all these contacts, you know, become the guy to go to if someone knows a family member or friend that has a home to sell. And I think about 30% of your deals will come from people that you told what you're doing, not their house, but their friends and family home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's really smart. And actually, you just said something right now that just stood out to me. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, I lost. When your speech, like it's just like an aha, motivating moment.
Good.
Like,
Good.
So I forgot the question. I just I was hearing you and I was like, oh man, like what a good, very good speaker.
Oh, yeah, I have a lot of words. That guy whose real estate company that I got into,
Yeah.
he told me, he's like, you're a let me show you guy. Let me show you.
Yeah.
So I need to slow down. Maybe not slow down, but maybe cut myself off or condense the words.
Yeah.
I tried to do 15-second videos on Instagram. I have a hard time getting them less than 90 seconds.
Oh yeah. But
know?
that's because you're giving such good information. It's like, okay.
It's better condensed.
Yeah.
The more condensed and we take out the fluff, the better we are. So I just need to keep practicing. So any questions about novation after the basics?
I mean, I think the
basics.
biggest thing is, the
Okay.
basics that you gave me.
Take that class with Ryan. It's 4 hours.
Yes.
And then hit me up to get you the Google Doc
Yes.
for the pro forma.
Okay.
And then also the Google Forms that Ryan uses for novation.
Yes, and you had mentioned a book, I think, too, when we had last spoken, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Was that?
No, I've never recommended Rich Dad, Poor Dad, although it is a must read. I wonder what one, were you and I talking about good to great and a visionary and an integrator? Were we having that conversation? That's a really good book as you grow, is finding someone that complements your other half.
Mm-hmm.
And we're usually a visionary where we have a great vision, or we're a great integrator where we're really good at integrating a vision, running a team, you know, sometimes being the bad guy.
Yeah.
That is a really good duo. that works in real estate teams or companies where they flip, you know. I don't know if I would have said Rich Dad Poor Dad. I mean, I know I wouldn't have. I don't recommend that book because after I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, really long time ago, I was a little upset. I was like, okay, I buy it. Like, I get it. Own real estate. Perfect. How do I get it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Rich Dad Poor Dad doesn't talk about that.
Huh. Robert
Robert Kiyosaki, he's like a Bitcoin guy now.
Yeah.
I like him better as a real estate guy. But I think Instagram does a better job of telling us how to do things, like Pace Morby, Ryan Pineda, Thak Win. I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
Or who's the real, what's his name? Make That Monet. What's that guy's name?
I'm not sure. I do
I
follow
follow
Richard
him.
Taylor. Richard Taylor.
Richard Taylor?
That's that young guy now, like that really
Yeah.
young guy.
Richard Taylor, I'll have to look up that
Yeah.
up.
Richard Taylor.
Any questions about the wholesale process or the flip process?
So in regards to actually, the fix and flip part of it.
Yeah.
So once you find the deal, which I feel like it's so hard to find a deal right now.
Yeah.
But when you do, are you noticing that you're having to pay a little more to try to beat the other wholesalers?
Yes. Flip purchases are getting run up. Everybody wants to flip, and the market is unsteady right now for flippers, so they need big margins.
Yeah.
So stick to big margins. What I learned from the mentors that do a lot is they're picky. They have big margins.
Okay.
It's hard for them to lose, you know, because this market does change often.
Yeah.
And when it does, you end up holding on to 5 flips that have negative 15K in equity. That adds up to a lot of negative.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
flipping is very risky. It also has the highest margins when it works. So where a wholesaler will make 20K, someone who does novations will make 25K, and then a flipper will make 40 to 60.
Okay, so good margins
40 to 60.
if you can get it.
Yeah, and my mentors are now wanting to do deals with me at $60,000 margins, which are high, and you get beat out often. You know.
Yeah.
So that's what has led me to more creative options.
Okay, yeah, the seller finance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or novations. But I still flip as much as possible because those are good margins, and I do enjoy going into the home and being a part of the decisions on construction. I like that part, putting the home back together.
Yeah.
I like the physical aspect of seeing what we created.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think the end goal is, we were talking about PML, you know, the private money lenders. Is that the end goal?
To be a lender?
Be the lender? Be the money?
I mean, that's not on my radar, but I think that it sounds like the smartest way to go.
Right.
I mean, don't you want to be the bank? Oh, I think we're out of time.
Oh.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay, come on in. Yeah, we were just finishing.
Okay, yeah.
We're actually done. We were just